Hello and welcome back to Physician Career Guide. I'm Sheri Clarke and I've been a medical educator for over 20 years. And in this episode, you're going to learn all about GME 101. What's the timeline? What do you need to know? How are the specialties figured out? Those types of things we're going to talk about more in detail. And actually, I had a presentation that I did to a medical school, and so we're going to jump right into it with the information that I was providing to them with the PowerPoint presentation that I think you'll find very helpful. Let's talk about the road to residency. First off, the road is truly one where you hope that you see the light at the end of the tunnel or the end of the road, and it's just smooth sailing and you just have to stay in your lane. Like the picture I have here. But in reality, we all know that that's not the case. You have many times where you have to pick and choose between different pathways that you can go. Specialties is an example of that. Even choosing to go into the PhD program is a part of that. Sometimes that pathway is not paved or not even very well defined. And so you're picking and choosing which way you want to go and making your own customized career. And, you know, if that was all you had to do, that would be fabulous. Pick a couple of pathways here and there. But really, your road after you even get into residency is going to be a bumpy one, and it's going to be a curvy, ups and downs. There's lots of different things to becoming a physician. And once you're a physician, you'll still have the ups and downs. And I just want you to be realistic about that and understand that. So, real basic GME 101, what is graduate medical education, or often called GME, and you have to do it. You have to go to a residency to be able to become board certified. So it's your pathway to board certification. Why do you need board certification? Board certification actually is a requirement to be able to really be a successful physician, to be able to get third-party payer certificate or a credentialing so that you can actually see a wide range of patients. And so it's really a necessity nowadays. It didn't used to be, but now really if you're not board certified, you're limiting yourself. So you need to go through proper training to be board certified. You also need to have board certification to get a license to practice medicine. And usually 1 or 2 years is a minimum requirement in any state to be able to have a license. And the ACGME is the only accreditation agency now that oversees this training. This training can be 3 to 5 years for residency and another 3 to 5 years or 3 to 6 years of optional fellowship training. An example of that is 3 years for internal medicine, then 3 years for cardiology, and then another year for interventional cardiology. And at each one of those transitions, you would then become board certified in the specialty or subspecialty that you had just finished. So here's some of the more common residencies to give you a sense of what those length of trainings look like. Emergency medicine can be either 3 or 4 years, and the DOs was 4 years, and many of those DO programs have switched over to the 3-year requirement. I don't know if they've gotten rid of the 4-year altogether, but the majority of them are 3-year. And then family medicine, internal medicine, pediatrics, those are all like 3-year programs. We'll talk a little bit about the osteopathic neuromuscular skeletal medicine. It's a little bit different. So I'll just give you a couple of seconds on that and how that's a little different later on in the presentation. So the 5-year programs tend to be more your surgical programs, the ones that are really involved and have a lot more training and hands-on training that's required. So that's what tends to be your 5-year programs. The only surgical program I can think of that's a 4-year is the OBGYN ophthalmology type of, so there's a few that are surgical, but most of them are your 5 years are the surgical. Just to give you an idea of how the subspecialty certification works, here's some examples of what internal medicine residencies are that can then go into subspecialties certifications. And if you look at geriatrics, that's even an option from family medicine. You can do a geriatrics fellowship regardless of whether you did internal medicine or family medicine as your residency. And so there's There's pathways for each of these that are all identified by the specialty boards and by the ACGME. There's a difference in the PGY 1 year. There's 3 different kinds. There's preliminary, categorical, and transitional. So the preliminary year means that it's specific to your specialty, but there's no commitment for future training in this same program. So they're bringing you in, you're going to spend a year there, but there is no guarantee that you're going to be able to stay there or that you've got any other training for a PGY 2 year. Categorical year is that you come in for the specialty, and then as long as you're meeting all of the parameters that are set forth to be able to promote to the PGY 2 year, you would promote within the same program. Transitional year is a little different. It's a very broad-based clinical experience with no commitment for future training. And there's some specialties that will accept a transitional year as their year 1. And physical medicine and rehab is one of those. And as we talked about earlier, the neuromuscular skeletal is another option. I gave you a couple examples of how the pathways can be a little different for the transitional year. If you look at the bottom of the slide, you can actually become osteopathic neuromuscular medicine certified either by doing a transitional year and 2 more years of O&M, or you could do 3 years of family medicine and do a single +1 year of O&M. And with physical medicine, your transitional year could be identified as your first year, and you have 4 years total. If you find these videos to be helpful, please like us and subscribe to our channel so that we can get the information out to more medical students and residents that can benefit from the value of these videos. Thank you.